All right, what is up? Welcome back. I want to start off with a disclaimer. This is a positive video. I've not made one of these in a while, as the last couple of ones have been kind of positive, such as the Cinestill alternative videos, where I kind of focused on the positive element of Reflex Labs 800 tungsten, but the caveat to that was that Cinestill's not a very awesome company to invest in. So this, however, is what I would like to think is almost an entirely positive video, which is new to me. Okay, so I'm gonna have to exercise that muscle the best I can. We're starting off here with another disclaimer, I suppose. This roll was sent to me for free. Now, this isn't going to affect my critiques too much, but I do think it is important that I say just outright, I didn't spend any money on this roll. I did, however, pay to get it developed and scanned and all of that. So there's some skin in the game from my side of things. But I do feel like, again, it's kind of important that you know, the audience watching this, I'm bought and paid for, son. I mean, this is all... It's all a scam. There is a very minuscule company, I believe it's just one guy really, who's making his own film, or modifying film, I should say. Now, I made a video about this a while ago announcing its thing, and I said, oh, the new Aerochrome is out. And he actually commented on that video and said, it's actually not Aerochrome. Please don't say it's Aerochrome. For the sake of this video, I think I'm going to put that in the thumbnail. Just but no, it's actually, it kind of behaves much more similar to the Lomo Purple. So basically he's doing what Lomography is doing to achieve that Lomo Purple look, but with his own mechanisms. I'm not sure what he does. I'm hoping at some point to get on an interview with him and go over that more. But for now, I just have the results. So we'll go through those now. This is from the backyard of my parents' house down in Arizona. It's got this cactus there. And I shot these 3 shots at different exposures. And if I was much smarter, I would have taken notes. But I believe this... the final one was 1 stop under, so I bracketed them just to see. And honestly, these all look fairly all right. I would say, if anything, the overexposed shot is a little bit bright, but there's still detail, it could still be pulled from. I'm not too upset about it. And I'm not sure what to do with this light here, because I feel like that's fine there. Anyway, moving on. This shot here, very overexposed. Not a great picture, but you can still see, even in the super blown out area, the mountain line there. So there's still some residual detail. Next up is probably my favorite shot. There's just the way that it plays off of the different colors in the image. This is more of a purple chair, so the fact that it kind of pulls it out is a bit more green, and the extra pop you get of color on the flowers I think is really fantastic, and I'm really proud of how that one turned out. And honestly, this would have only really be attainable with that film, so this is a group effort. The sunset shot here, the way that the light kind of plays off of this hill is nice, and it gives it that really warm, deeply purple touch of light. And then the green mountains in the background add a nice contrast. Not a great picture. My photography is not that awesome, so I'm not trying to critique the composition at the moment. I'm just trying to point out the film qualities. Really not much to say here. I do think, again, the detail retention here is really nice. There's a bit of blobs and blurbs and stuff in the shadows. It just kind of looks I'm really happy with this one too. Just a little Dexter dog just hanging out. He's obviously not looking at me, couldn't be bothered to pose for me. He's probably waiting for food or something, because that's kind of what he does. But really, I just think that he still looks very normal, and there's slight tints and stuff to the background to make it look abnormal, but for the most part, it is a usable image as an image. It is a stylized film, but it's still usable as an image. And that's, I think, the big contrast from this film, as opposed to the Harmon Phoenix film that I reviewed last week, where that film, it felt like the gimmick or the precedence of the stylized experimental qualities overruled the quality of the film itself. It felt like it was more important to make it look interesting rather than make it look good. And I feel like this kind of achieves both of those things in a very unique manner. This, I think, finds that sweet spot between normal and experimental, like right in the middle of just kind of a little bit of experimental, but also good quality film. So pretty stoked about that. This image as well, I think, turned out pretty cool. The way that the light's hitting the superstition, the shadows being cast, just really, really good look. And then, yeah, the cactus in the foreground also looks pretty good. So stoked about it. This one, image 22, I think is the best. This was the better interpretation of what I was hoping to achieve in that previous image, where the way that the sunlight, the last bit of light on the day is hitting that hill, really adds beautiful light to the otherwise like more brownish landscape, and it just adds this like really sweet warm color, and I feel like that's really accentuated in this photo. And I think like the green sky as well kind of plays into that as well, and adds like, it's a very nice complementary color. When I was sent this film, I was instructed to shoot it in like very bright sunny conditions, shoot it at I think 200 ISO, ASA, however you want to say it. And I did for the most part. I shot most of the roll when I was down in Phoenix, which is a very bright, very sunny area, even in wintertime when I was visiting. However, that trip ended and I still had a lot of film to shoot. So when I got back here to Portland, where it is not so bright and sunny, I had to shoot the remainder of the roll here. So these aren't really the most ideal conditions as per the producers, as per the production of the film is concerned, but I think you'd still be surprised with the results because they're really kind of good. So this one here, not really much to talk about. The grass in the foreground and going in the back is like really, really purple, very deep purple. The highlights are a little bit blown out, and overall the colors are kind of muddled, but it is kind of an interesting picture. I think the richness of that "do not enter" sign really plays in nicely, and just kind of has like this nice cold, cozy feeling to it overall. Not really much to talk about. The color contrast in the leaves is kind of interesting versus the dead tree. Other than that, can kind of live without it. This one I really do like. This is just a train yard here. We have like the really green grass, normally green. It's very purple now in the foreground, and just the shipping containers in the background with that giant crane situation. It looks a little bit alien, just with the color shifts, but it is still very recognizable. So I think that's kind of interesting. And then this one here, I'm actually really happy with as well. There's like the graffiti here in the foreground. There's that little tree in the background with some of the leaves left. And that's adding a nice little warm touches of light against the wall behind it. And then there's that little accent light right by that doorway. It's one of those that like, you look at it and it doesn't really make sense where I'm at or like what we're looking at, but it has a lot of interesting shapes and a lot of interesting lines that you can follow. And again, the detail in the film is really, really impressive. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. With all of like the little shifts in color and stuff that are put on this film, it still looks really good. And then this one here is kind of the same thing. I really like how this looks. It's just framed like flat against a wall. There's the bike with the little touches of light, and then the like interesting looking building with that like kind of turret roof system behind it, kind of a plain wall in front with like all the liquid seeping down it or whatever. And then all of these little touches of warmth, these little leaves on the base of that wall and on the sidewalk. I just think it just enriches that environment, and it also is incredibly vacant. There's no passersby, there's no pedestrians. It's just this blank canvas of a world. It's cool. Same with this one here. The right lane sign I think really pops, and I think it looks really good. And again, I feel like that's kind of That do not enter sign is kind of a predecessor to this shot here, but the street sign here I think is much more accentuated by the environment. I feel like overall the detail again is really impressive. And again, I'm going to say it, like, this isn't one of those gimmicky films where I was like, I got a couple interesting shots, but like it shifts the way that I'm looking at the world in kind of a more obscure way. It provides an image that I could still use and people are like, oh, that's a good image, and not that's a good gimmick, if that makes sense. And then this one here I'm really, really impressed with. Again, I was told that this film needed a lot of light, and I was going through this really dark tunnel, but the way that it like picked up the darkness, like it's very, I don't know, unnerving to a degree, and like the way that those lights like wrap in, like it's an unsettling image, and I think it really, I don't know, I really enjoyed this one quite a bit. And I feel like for a gimmick film, it's really picking up the shadows well. There's like a gritty detail in all of it, but there's still detail. And it's nice. It really is nice. It's not muddled. It's not gross. It's not grimy. It has this like greenish tint to everything, but you can still pick out the little bits of graffiti here and there. You can still pick out the different wall panelings. It's not just a blob. And that's pretty much it. Overall, the modified film, the role I shot at least, was pretty fantastic. I don't know. I'm really, really impressed. I think after like this last stint of like kind of shooting more gimmicky film, just trying to test different things out and doing kind of some relatively expensive consumer research, it was really refreshing to get this gift, really, because that's what it was. It was a gift of film. And then to achieve or to then receive the other gift of getting usable images out of it was really, really pleasant, and something that I just wanted to just showcase and highlight. And I think that the more I talk to like people in the space, the more that they're kind of interested in like progressing their own brand, their own business, and like, you know, making photo prints, making books, doing whatever they can to kind of incentivize either more people to come in or more people to enjoy their art or whatever it is. But I do think it's kind of rare to see somebody that appreciates the work that film is in so much of a way that they're trying to manufacture their own element of film, and that's just impressive, and I think really, really ultimately worth highlighting. So yeah, happy to do that. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting to talk to the creator of this project soon, get a little more insight into the technical aspect of it, as well as just future plans and all of those things, because ultimately I find this to be very interesting, kind of goes hand in hand with my visions of kind of creating a world where film cameras can be repaired and reused for many generations to come, and then hopefully one day somebody will make their own film camera and we won't have to keep using things that are from 60 years ago. Who knows? But anyway, until all of that happens, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like it if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. I'm going to get a little bit more of my area set up here, and yeah, until then, catch you on the next one.